A very good afternoon to all Kayamitas, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 22nd June 2025. Sunday class. So we'll be continuing our sharing from our book Heart Sutra, second edition. We are at page 140, lesson 26. As usual, let us compose our mind, develop the Saddha, Virya, and we shall continue with our pre-puja chanting. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 药师佛 Namo 药师佛 Namo 药师佛 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Panati Pata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Musāvādā Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Surameraya Majapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect to Pajama. Buddhang Pujemi Dhammang Pujemi Sanghang Pujemi. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe in their entirety, let the deities and Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings. of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakawalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajasa Sunantu Sakemokadang Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti Peso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vidyacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavido Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Opanayiko Pachyatang Veditabo Vinohiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Saukasangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Saukasangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Saukasangho Samicipatipanno Bhagavato Saukasangho Yadidang Chatari Purisa Yukani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Saukasangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anutarang Punyang Ketang Lokasati Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, you can be seated. Then we'll continue from where we stopped. Page 140, lesson 26 of the Heart Sutra class. Part 1. Recap and emphasis on the previous lesson. So, section 1.1. Understanding thoughts, knowledge, and wisdom. So, these three terms, they are often used by the English language tradition, and they are very closely knitted to cultivation, but understanding their difference is very important. So basically, what is thought, what is knowledge, and what is wisdom? So many people fail to understand the difference, so they use it interdependently without knowing the big difference. That's why there are a lot of things where thought by itself is limited. That's why for those who understand, especially J. Krishnamurti, he said, you must develop the awareness to see thought and to see the limitation of thought and how thought divides and create conflicts, create misunderstanding, creates the duality that condition our conditioned world to have all these problems. So, through thoughts, it creates words. And word alone is capable of dividing all the so-called living beings' perception of things. So they divide through the way they perceive it. That's why word alone. Take for example, just one word, religion. From there, it can divide into so many. Then we come out with various types of religious belief. It can be Christianity, Islam, Buddhist, or even Hinduism or Taoism. Then sometimes they even have the various type of other religion. So true words is divine. Then apart from religion, you also have what they call nationality, where they can continue to divide. You are from which country, your citizenship. Then through word we also have a lot of duality created, like right and wrong, good and bad, wholesome and unwholesome. So all these are within the field of thought. Then the reason why thought is limited is when we are able to understand how thought comes to be, how we as a human being or any living being actually created thought, how all this come to be. That one is very important. Once you see that, then you will understand why thought is limited. Because the arising of thought is from that pure awareness nature. Initially, our nature is just spacious awareness. From that spacious awareness, for us to know things, we have to focus into a small space to perceive what that thing is. Take for example, if you want to perceive my voice, you have to actually zoom in to hear what I say through your hearing consciousness. Then, in order to see whatever that you want to see, could be the Buddha image or Rupang, or anything within your vicinity. It could be your house, your whatever item within your house, like the furniture, the fan, the TV, everything. So you have to zoom in into a small space to perceive it. So that spacious awareness, you shrink it to that small space. Then you input the content of consciousness, which is from your memory, your knowledge, which are your accumulated views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, etc. From there, the content goes in, and the pure spacious awareness shrinks to a small space. Once you input the content, it triggers off that thought. that thought become alive. That's why thought, instead of originally spacious awareness, has been shrink into a small space, and with the content it goes in, it triggers a thought. And that thought itself is definitely limited, but that thought can only understand what is within that field, which is the space in which it arises. That's why it's limited. From spacious awareness, which is capable of the whole oneness, it has shrunk and become a thought. That's why it's limited. And that thought is always knowledge, because it's from memory. Without the memory, accumulated views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, and memory, it cannot trigger a thought. That's why thought, when you can see clearly in your silent awareness how it pop up, how it arises, it needs memories. That's why thought is respond to memory. Without memory, you cannot create a thought. No way. That's why thought is respond to memory. And the beginning of thought is the beginning of registration through the brain activity that living being actually develop. Because as a human being, we have a physical body with a very sophisticated brain that can register all this as memories. That's why memory is the beginning of registration. When you start to register more and more, accumulated memory get registered. Then you, from there, formulate your views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, etc. Sometimes you even accumulate all your fear, your phobia, your insecurity, your anger, your hatred, your emotional negativity. And all this become the accumulated memories, or we call it the bundle of memories with its views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, etc. And from there, we live. We believe we are that, and we identify with what society has created and given us. That's why we have a name, we have a title, and we have a gender. Then based on our skin color, they subdivide us into different race, nationality. Then they give you identity card, passport, everything. And from here, you fit into the society's norm of having education, going to school, having to develop the understanding of all the things that society has created, like your banking, your ownership of property, cars. Then they have commerce. They have the various type of law, land law, country law, commercial law, contract law. Then they introduce a lot more things. Now with the digital technology, digital age, more and more things comes to be. And all this comes about through thought process. That's why thought is capable of knowledge, technological development, science, maths, everything, even arts, humanity, where they are mostly thought-based, even psychology, humanity. So thought basically is a very complex instrument, but living beings, through their lack of awareness and understanding, fail to comprehend what basically thought is. Then our perception is mainly from memory, from our conditioning, belief system, everything, our knowledge. That's why we call that knowledge. Whatever you learn through your thought process, they become your knowledge. Whatever you accumulate through your memory, they become your registered knowledge. Then you start to create ideology. You start to create the more complicated thought process to come out with the various concept, ideology. Yeah. Then from there, society develop more and more sophisticated knowledge and I should say ideology. Yeah. Then through ideology it divides. Because different people with different ideology, they create different standards for them to accept or to reject. That's why ideology can become very detrimental to society when you cannot understand how it divides and create all those misunderstandings, even to the extent of war. So ideology can be in many forms. Sometimes they call it liberal ideology. Sometimes they call it conservative ideology. Sometimes they can even call it communist ideology. Communist. The thinking is towards the communist ideology. Then sometimes it's democratic ideology, more towards the liberal. Yeah. Then of course in the West they have the conservative, they have the liberal. And all these are manifested through the thought. That's why thought process need to be understood. How they can be understood and make use of, so that you are not deceived by thought. And as I have shared in the early days, thought is like any thing that you use. Is like money. Money is an instrument for us to use while living life in our society. That's why thought created that concept of money. Then that money become a tool for us to use. We can use it to buy things or to develop wholesomeness out of it, generosity, donation. Then we can also use it negatively to cause killing, like hire assassin, or to bribe people, and to create a lot of negative aspect where thought and money can be like used differently in different aspects by the user of that instrument. So if the user of thought is wicked, deluded, full of evil thought process, then money become evil, because whatever intent behind the usage of money will condition the money into that activity. So it is not money that makes you evil. That's why society sometimes they coin this type of sentence. Money is the source of all evil. No, money basically is neither evil nor good. It depends on who? The user of money. So our thought is the same. When you understand that, then you will know thought is neither wholesome or unwholesome, neither good or bad. Thought is just an instrument. If the user have wisdom and understanding, no negativity, then thought can become right thought, wholesome thought. And in the Buddhist teaching, what is being taught is the Noble Eightfold Path. And within the Noble Eightfold Path, you have right view leading to the right thought. That's why you have to arise the appropriate right thought. That's why the user of thought must have the Dhamma understanding to arise the right thought. Otherwise, being deluded, heedless, all the thought that arise will have Sakkaya-ditthi. It will be conditioned into wrong thought. The three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion is there. Especially Sakkaya-ditthi, the egoic mind. That delusion stems from clinging on to the five aggregates of form and mind. And that is the source of delusion. Because from that Sakkaya-ditthi, the self-delusion, it manifests the personality or the ego. And the personality or the ego is the one that manifests the greed, the possessiveness, the selfishness, then the anger, the hatred, all come from that personality. Yeah. Then when that personality cannot understand, then it triggers of fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation. So all these are what we call delusion, Sakkaya-ditthi, or self-delusion, moha. Yeah. So greed, hatred, and delusion, the three evil roots, manifest from the egoic mind, which is thought-based. Because the thought that doesn't have the Dhamma behind it is always a wrong thought. Okay, now we go back to the notes. I just explained one of the three terms that was in the subheading. Understanding thought. So by now, I believe the understanding is much better now. Then how thought become knowledge, I also explained just now. Well, basically it's from memory, from the brain. So the beginning of thought is the beginning of registration by the brain activity, when you start to accumulate all your experiences, good and bad, wholesome and unwholesome. So all this starts the process of accumulation, registration. So the beginning of thought is the beginning of registration. After you register, then all this become memory. Then it can trigger of thought. That's why thought is called response to memory. Without memory, there is no thought. Without the memory of that thing that you perceive, you cannot create a thought. But after you have learned it through knowledge, memory, then you can create a thought. If it's something very new, you cannot. You cannot come up with a thought. You have to create a word or something, or an ideology or a concept. Then only the word can come out. You can coin it. That's why thought can only manifest if there is memory. That's why thought is respond to those memories. So thought and knowledge and memory, they are closely related. And the key component within our mind activity is perception. We perceive it through knowledge, through concept, through ideology, through memories. Whereas the direct seeing doesn't perceive anything. That's why the Surangama Sutta has a very beautiful and profound phrase to define what wisdom is. Within the Surangama Sutta, there is a stanza See, perception of thought is memory. When you perceive something through the thought process, that is consciousness, because from the memory it arises. Then, whereas it's non-perception, is wisdom. That one is born of the direct seeing. That's why the last part, thought, knowledge, of course you can include memory, everything, accumulated views, opinion, conditioning, belief system. Then wisdom. Wisdom has nothing to do with knowledge. That's why Dhamma knowledge is of not much use. Your knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom is born of the direct seeing, the awakening. When you insight into phenomena and awaken to the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta, then it triggers understanding, which is wisdom. That's why this wisdom is born of the direct seeing. That's why in the Surangama Sutta, the stanza says, whereas it's non-perception, is wisdom. When they point to you something, like the table or what, if you reply there is a table, means you don't have wisdom. Because whatever that is being perceived, perception of form is consciousness. When you perceive that form through consciousness, that is mundane seeing. Whereas it's non-perception, we are the direct seeing, where there is no word, no concept, no ideology, nothing. Seeing things as they are. And that one is wisdom. When you see things as they are, everybody will see the same, the direct seeing. Seeing things as they are, without the words, nothing. The pure seeing. So, hopefully with that, you can understand the difference between thought, knowledge, and wisdom. So now I'll go into the Dhamma part. Because that time when I did the sharing, I explained a lot. But this one is just the short note, the pointer that capture the essence for me to edit and other things. So now I'll read to you the short notes, the essence, then you will understand. Okay, part 1.1. Understanding thought, knowledge and wisdom. Clinging to all the Dhamma teachings via knowledge or memory is of not much use. And one must instead awaken to the truth, or the so-called pure Dhamma, especially the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta, or impermanent, suffering state and non-self, or empty nature of all phenomena, to arise the wisdom born of the direct seeing. Because only wisdom or understanding can free our mind. So this one is a very important understanding. The mind, once awakened, is no longer deluded. And the understanding is always there. Because understanding, or yoniso manasikara, which is wise attention at the moment of sense experience, is not a knowledge. The Dhamma is like the raft, acting as a means to take one across the ocean of suffering, and once awakened, one must not carry the raft around. That's why you must not cling on to the Dhamma, the teaching. Also, one must not mistaken the finger pointing at the moon, which is analogous with the Dhamma pointing towards the truth, as the moon. Because you see very clearly, the finger pointing at the moon is like the Dhamma pointing towards the truth. But the finger is the finger, the moon is the moon. So to realize the moon, to understand what that moon is, you must graze beyond the finger. You must see beyond the form, beyond the mundane thinking mind, to see the pure nature, the truth. So all these are analogy to make you understand. So attachment to Dhamma knowledge, that one is not wisdom. Dhamma, if not awakened to, can become a problem. That's why they say knowledge bind. That word is very important. It is stated in the Wu Liang I Ching. Wu Liang's Shou Jing, I think. The Amitabha Buddha's teaching. So knowledge, which is not wisdom, binds, whereas wisdom frees. So this one is a very important difference. Knowledge is thought-based, whereas wisdom is a direct seeing or awakening. So ability to understand the difference is very important. So this one is wisdom. So wisdom and knowledge are two very different entities. So when we learn the spiritual teaching, we learn the Dhamma, we are not holding on to knowledge. When you hold on to knowledge, it's via the thought process, the memory. That's why sometimes you hold on to too much knowledge. Knowledge turn around and bind you. Because too much knowledge makes you rigid. You become very rigid and you tend to use it wrongly, and you tend to have a lot of argument with people. Because knowledge is something that is not really a wisdom that can be very flexible or can develop a lot of different aspects of understanding. Because knowledge is like very rigid. It points towards a fact, finish. And that is knowledge. But it's not the ultimate reality or truth. Like you say, the capital city of Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. But this is not a fact, it's a knowledge. Because as long as conditions continue to exist, then maybe that will hold as a statement. But that one has no wisdom inside there. Then if, let's say somebody decides to change the capital somewhere, and then that knowledge is not a fact anymore. Because once that decision is being made, then the capital city of Malaysia can change. Just like in the early history where we study the various civilizations, especially China, the capital of China has changed many times. Originally, it was Chang'an. It was not Beijing. Then they under different era, different emperor, they decide to change the capital. So all these are the difference between knowledge, which is rigid. It points towards the fact at that time. Okay, here we go back to the notes. So I have explained the first paragraph. So now we move on. The emphasis of our present civilization is mainly on the digital technology early on at that time when I share, I think it was just information technology, IT. Yeah. Then science. Yeah. Of course, that time I think don't have IT, AI. Sorry, AI. Then there are a few of my classmates, but very handful, who study computer science. Yeah. So computer science is actually IT and AI in its infancy, and they told me as science. Then later on they separate it out as information technology, then digital technology, then now is AI, artificial intelligence technology, and they will evolve many other things. Yeah. So the emphasis for our civilization is mainly IT, science, and technological development. That's why it's thought-based. Hence the overuse of the human thought processes. We are this type of very competitive, knowledge-based education system. So you look at our education system, it's mainly about knowledge, not so much about wisdom and understanding. So knowledge-based education has created a society that is heavily thought-based. We use the thought rampantly, and almost everything is thought. The whole of education, the whole of communication, the whole of society's interaction is all via thought. That's why living beings that don't have the awareness nature, they think a lot. They are most of the time lost in thought, heedless, entangled in thought. They may concentrate and focus using their memory, their knowledge, and their willpower to hold on to the thought and develop the study of it and other things. That's why those who can study very well, they have good concentration. They can focus on specific things to read and to study. They won't feel sleepy. The mental hindrance will not come and disturb them because of their ability to have the willpower to develop that interest that they are studying or going into. So it can be something that you have passion for, you love to do, to study, to develop further understanding. Okay, then I continue. The spiritual cultivation via sati or awareness and the creative mind has been neglected for too long. So this is what was happening at that time when I was developed the understanding. I was able to develop the understanding. Then when I went through the meditative transformation after 1989, then I saw all this. That's why at that time when I share, I actually spoke on all this. But then, because most people are not able to comprehend all this, so what I share through the short note, I summarize it. So now, after I have gone through the Heart Sutra for a few times, now I can go in deeper to explain to you all this understanding, which in the early days I don't have the causes and condition to explain. So at that time I already mentioned knowledge-based education system is mainly thought-based. The over emphasis on the thought process, the thought activity. Then the spiritual cultivation, where sati or mindfulness and awareness is the basis, giving rise to the creative mind state, or what we call the mind that has a lot of space. That's why it's creative, it's not cluttered. Yeah. So this creative mind, born of spacious awareness, where there is a lot of space between thought, where there is not too much knowledge or accumulated knowledge. Yeah. So all this starts to develop the cluttering of the mind, leading to heedlessness, leading to a lot of thought activity. That's why the thinking mind become very active, rampant. Yeah. So human beings that don't have the awareness or sati, mindfulness, they think a lot, they worry a lot, they plan a lot, they have a lot of thought activity, sankhara activity. They perceive, they think, they perceive, they think, they react. That's why sankhara sanya, very strong, very active. Avidya paja sankhara. Because of delusion, they create thought activity, sankhara. And within the sankhara, there is perception. You perceive through memory, then you stir your mind, you react to sense experience. That's how knowledge-based thought activity manifests. Yeah. So the spiritual cultivation of sati or mindfulness and the creative mind has been neglected for too long. You cannot use thought and knowledge to liberate the mind, to free your mind from delusion and ignorance. But thought is limited and egoic. Only through the cultivation of wisdom, via mindfulness or awareness, to understand clearly who are you and what are you, can we understand what anatta nature is. Anatta nature is the non-self nature, empty nature of existence, not a permanent, unchanging entity. You cannot rely on thought anymore. You should inquire via your heedfulness. Is the human being or the five aggregates of form and mind really what you are? Is this really you, the form and mind? Are you real? Are you what you think you are? Where that thought process, which is egoic, will always have that sakkayaditthi unless that form and mind awaken to it. Means the mundane mind realizes itself and awaken and go beyond the thought. That's why the Dhamma is akaliko, beyond thought, beyond mind. Yeah. Then I read on. In the olden days, when we did not use the thought process as rampantly as what our society is now, we tend to be more intuitive and creative because we use more of our senses and inner nature to feel. And become aware instead of constantly preoccupied with the thought process. That's why in the early years of early civilization, there are a lot of musicians, poets, or philosophers who doesn't think so much. They actually study with more creative mind state. That's why they can become very talented musicians, poets. even authors and all those things. Yeah. It's through their creative activity, the mind that is more quiet, tranquil, and peaceful. That type of mind is creative. It's not lost in thought, not entangled, until there is no space within thought. Yeah. Means you are not with your true mind. Most of the time you are out, preoccupied with your thought process. You are lost in thought, heedless. Yeah. And the Buddha knew. That's why in the Dhammapada verse 21 he said, the heedless are as if dead. Heedlessness is the path to the dead. The heedless are as if dead. Whereas heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. So when you are able to use your senses more and more, your awareness nature within, the inner nature, to just feel and develop more awareness, instead of constantly preoccupied with your thought process, then you develop understanding, wisdom. Yeah. So when your thought process keep on arising, it creates the related reaction to what you see, and that's where the problem starts. So I read again this part. Bring it down a bit. In the olden days, when we did not use the thought process so rampantly, we tend to be more intuitive and creative. So this is very true, isn't it? Because we use more our senses and inner nature to feel and to be aware, instead of being constantly lost in thought or preoccupied with our thought process and its related reaction and stirring of mind to what we see, what we hear, what we think, etc. We are our heedless living. But when civilization has evolved over the last few centuries, and the emphasis nowadays is more towards science, technology, and IT type of education, which are mainly knowledge and thought based, even the subject of history, geography, etc. So we tend to use the thought process more and more to acquire scientific knowledge, technological and IT knowledge. And in the process, we overlook our natural or true mind of stillness and peace, which is without thought, which is more creative, that has a lot of clarity within. So the true mind, which is tranquility, stillness, has been overlooked. We forgot that we have another mind, which is the primordial, tranquil, still, without thought. And that is our pure awareness nature, the pure mind that is without thought, but capable of awareness, insight, awakening, observation, to see things as they are. That is the meditative mind. That is the one that has been lost because of the way civilization evolved. Too much emphasis on the thought process. Until we overlook our natural state of mind, or the true mind, of perfect tranquility and stillness. When we are without thought. And this mind is more creative, and it has a lot of clarity within. It can see things as they are, it can insight into phenomena, it can awaken. The moment those who are not yet enlightened use thought from their forehead, where the brain is situated, it will cause their mind to stir, and disrupting its natural state of pure, calm, inner awareness and stillness. Now you know how the thought process actually stirs your mind through your views, opinion, conditioning and belief system. Because you lack wisdom. You need so manasikara to accept the reality of the moment, to see things as they are. That's why it was trigger of the stirring of the mind. So for those Puthujjana who are not enlightened as yet, they tend to use a lot of thought process from their forehead, where the brain is situated, and it will cause their mind to stir, hence disrupting their natural states of pure, calm, inner awareness and stillness, which is tranquility and stillness. We therefore need to develop the wisdom to balance our life so that we are not deluded and drawn by the overemphasizing on the heedless thinking process to disrupt our spiritual life of awareness, heedful living. Instead of being 90% or 90 plus over percent of the time using the thinking process from our forehead, we should reverse it to only use it when necessary to live life with a silent and clear mind, with inner awareness from the heart most of the time. Only then do we know how to live life via our essence of mind or the true mind after realizing the anatta nature of the five aggregates of form and mind of ours. To develop this understanding or wisdom, we need to develop sati or mindfulness to reconnect back to our essence of mind. So stay at the heart and be away from there to live life, have love and be loved. So that time I wrote all this as the summary, but hardly anybody understand at that time. But it was a beautiful summary. That's why this book, no matter what level of cultivation you are, is still relevant, evergreen. It will not become like knowledge, become obsolete. Where this is born of that true mind that understand, that develop the awakening. Then I read on, you will understand better. Understand that thoughts are respond to memory. This one I have explained. So if we maintain our attention at our forehead, then thought will constantly arise. And because of our delusion, thought will create a center for us to cling on to, grasp onto, which is the I and the me, or what we call self-delusion, sakkayaditthi, thereby conditioning us to act and react heedlessly or selfishly. As wrong thoughts are always limited and egoic, it will condition our fear, worry, anxiety, selfishness, and emotional negativity. That's why wrong thought without the Dhamma understanding is always limited and egoic, and it has the evil root of selfishness, emotional negativity, delusion, which is fear, worry, anxiety. That's why all these are described very clearly. Then the next part is knowledge bind, like I wrote just now when I was explaining. Hence the reason why all knowing, which is thought-based knowledge, is not wisdom, and it will become an obstruction to spiritual cultivation. That's why for those who understand, who has developed the wisdom, they know knowledge bind. So knowledge is not wisdom. When you have too much knowing, it is actually a disadvantage. That's why in the early day, I remember, Krishnamurti used to say this. He got a very powerful phrase. He said, the most dangerous person in this world is what? Is the one who say, huh? What is it? Anybody answer? Nobody type it, huh?
Here I know what is the answer. Volunteer say before.
Sadhu.
The one who say I know lah.
Because, why? There is nothing to know. All knowing comes from memory, isn't it? Which is your knowledge, your thought. And the moment you say you know, you are no longer having the understanding. That's why that person who say I know is the most dangerous person in the world. But there is nothing to know. That's why the non-perception is wisdom. So perception of form is consciousness. Just the mundane seeing. The conscious mind see. And through knowledge, he say, he knows, he understands. Whereas the non-perception is wisdom. The one that doesn't know, understand through wisdom. That's why the word knowing and understanding is very different. When you understand, it doesn't mean you know. When you understand, it means you have wisdom. It's not a concept, it's not an idea, it's not a knowledge. Yeah. So, the person who say, I know, there is nothing to know. All these are created by thought, through knowledge, through words. Yeah. So, those who are wise, they can see all this very clearly. That's why J. Krishnamurti, when he spoke that sentence, it was really profound. And people cannot understand him. And he also didn't take the trouble to explain at that time. Only later on when I came out to teach, then I saw that statement from J. Krishnamurti, then only I explained it. They say, yes, what he says is very true. That's why I don't try to know. You remember? In the awareness-based meditation, I use the word what? Don't try to do, don't try to know. Why? Because the knowing is always from the thought. Who knows? The thought knows. Through memory, through concept, through ideology, through the thought process. Yeah. Then who do? The thought do. When you are aware, there is no perception. It's before the knowing. That's why pure awareness before the knowing is sati. Sati is mindfulness, which is awareness before the knowing. Yeah. So this one is very important. Okay, we go back to the notes. So I read the Pure Land teaching. Okay, knowledge by, I go back a bit. Hence the reason why all knowing, which is thought-based knowledge, is not wisdom, and it will become an obstruction to spiritual cultivation. This is the reason why in the Pure Land teaching of the infinite life, 无量寿经, the most profound quotes are 所知障 and 烦恼障. 所知 means there is a obstruction to whatever you know, means equivalent to knowledge by 所知. Whatever you know is a obstruction to learning the spiritual teaching. Then 烦恼障. 烦恼 is worry. So when you have fear, worry, anxiety, these are delusion, evil roots. That's why it's an obstruction to learning Dhamma or awakening. to developing the understanding. So all these are very profound teaching. That's why when I heard the sharing in the Wu Liang Shou Jing, it was in a recorded tape, I remember at the time. I was full of joy and very amazed at the teaching. 所知障,烦恼障. That is, all knowing via knowledge or memory are obstruction to cultivation of wisdom. And all fear, worry, anxiety are also obstruction to having a free mind. What is fear, worry, anxiety? These are mental hindrance, understand? When you have doubt, when you have fear, worry, sorrow and lamentation, the mind develops restlessness, understand? It becomes restless. That's why these are all mental hindrance. They will hinder your mind from entering the meditative state of inner peace and inner calmness. That's why all this become very clear. So if you look at the Theravada teaching and the Maya teaching, there is no difference, although put in different words and form, approach it from different direction. But they point towards the same truth. Then I read on. We are so used to thought-based living. Thought-based living is very egoic. Hence a lot of selfishness and possessiveness. It is motivated by what your thought tells you. Our thoughts are so conditioned. They are often conditioned thinking, conditioned by our wrong views, our opinion, caused by our own sakkayaditthi or self-delusion. This conditioned thinking are mainly our habitual tendencies that will cause us to deludedly react, hold, cling, and grasp on to a lot of things which we think we can own, possess, and develop the desire for it, or reject. Before thought, it is just spacious awareness, or the entire oneness. This is the earlier explanation that I explained. Where our nature, the true mind, the pure mind, our pure essence, the first thing that can come out from that so-called oneness nature, or we call it the true nature. The first thing to move out from there is our pure awareness nature. And there is spacious awareness before the knowing, before the arising of thought, without a center. That's why it's the oneness. So before thought arises, it was just spacious awareness, or the entire oneness. Then the moment we focus or concentrate to perceive, thought is being created. We are the input of the content of consciousness, which are our perception, feeling, emotion, thinking, and other activity of mind, etc., which is sankhara, within that space. Hence thought becomes limited because it shrinks the whole spacious awareness into a narrow field of focusing. No focusing implies no thought. And without thought, there is no center of the I and the me. Hence, no one to fear, worry, become anxious, selfish, and emotional, etc., which implies true peace, pure awareness, tranquility, and stillness. That is your true mind, your meditative mind, your pure mind. The pure awareness nature without delusion is the essence of mind, our true mind, our silent mind. To prepare for this coming to one to expected transformation of consciousness and great shift, We only need to be aware and stay at the heart. Have love and be loved. Then everything will be alright. That is heart-based awareness. And no more thought-based living from the forehead. Yeah. Then naturally, overnight, you may transform if you do not arise any fear. Yeah. The pure awareness state before the arising of thought has no center, which implies no being, hence anatta. At that time, I don't think anybody understands, but somehow I summarize it. Oh, I think we stop here. I think we stop here. It's still very long. Where I have to explain all this. And this is just the summary of what I shared during that time. Where it's over about 3 hours total. You minus the meditation also is about 2+ hours. But non-stop sharing now, that one is it's not like this one. I go through the essence and I explain to you. That one is all my sharing only, most of the time. Unless there is question or what. So off the light and relax body and mind. Then silence everything. Don't try to know, don't try to do anything, just relax, maintain awareness. Then remember the four support. Relax into every mind state that arises. Then maintain awareness. Stabilize the awareness. Then for those who have developed the stability of inner awareness, you can do the fourth support, which is trust. Trust your nature to develop the meditative movement. Just silent, stay at the heart, and let the awareness move. You all can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. These are the mind state that you need to stabilize your daily mindfulness, so that you are capable of being in the state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness all the time. We come to the second session, Q&A, followed by meditation reporting. You can report your meditation and ask me whatever question you want. The question can be today's topic, understanding clearly between the difference of thought, knowledge, and wisdom. Then the other one is regarding how to apply all this teaching to help you solve your daily life problem.
Dear, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, yes.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mrs. Dear Su Yuen.
Yeah.
Dear, I want to share my experience a few weeks ago.
Oh, very good. Sadhu.
Yeah. And I think I can relate to what you were teaching today.
Oh, Sadhu, very good.
Yeah. So few weeks back, I was quite heedless lah. It was in the office in the morning. So because I was chasing after a deadline, they wanted something by morning.
Oh, okay.
So I was chasing it, and then along the way there were a lot of interruptions. So I guess there was some anxiety, and actually I was heedless because I didn't monitor myself. I just keep on thinking I have to finish it.
Yeah.
There were fear here and there.
That thought is like triggering of the urgency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I managed to complete it, and then by lunch it was already completed, and I went for lunch with my colleague, and I thought I have settled down but I guess it did not because when I came back from lunch, I think there was still some anxiety there that I don't know why it lingers. So around 4 o'clock, I make up my mind to go home and continue working from home, because actually my office allowed that to happen. So I started packing but even that, when I pack, there was some anxiety, because anxiety of suddenly my boss come out and call me, then what happened?
That thought,
The thought. And then I don't know how, all of a sudden the heart start to palpitate. And it was quite violent, Brother Teo. Quite violent. Couldn't control already. So because I was heedless, if I have become aware and didn't,
then it will be
it,
different. Then you know how to just silent, relax, and maintain awareness. Then you will go. But actually, all this attachment, you need to see it clearly and stay with it, silent everything, and go through it. Let it dissolve. When it dissolves, you will develop a lot of very different understanding, which is not knowledge-based, which is actually awareness-based. Then when you understand, it cannot haunt you anymore. It cannot cause you all this anxiety, whatever. Because finish means finish. But most people cannot know, because the thought will linger around, like you say, that word linger. Because you must have actually, while you're rushing through, because you are not doing it with awareness, mindfulness, and with the understanding. That's why you having that thought that actually condition you to rush through. Then you will not do it well. Then most of the time you will have doubt that this one has been completed properly. Then you have this thought that will trigger off the possibility, what if my boss call me? Then that is where the fear arises. And the arising of fear is from your thought process. That's why the thought can trigger off all this. And the basis of fear is your lack of understanding. That's why that fear which trigger of this thought to continuously haunt you. For your case, because you have the earlier on tendency of your heart, you use the word palpitating. That word is palpitating. So you have that tendency. That's why once this fear develop, then it will trigger off now. Then like you mentioned just now, it was quite strong the palpitating. But whenever you develop the understanding of it, then you know how to silence, then it will go often. But the ability to let it disappear or clear off, you have to develop a more stable wisdom, because the reality is the moment, the present moment. That is the only reality. The rest are all projected by thought. When thought, through thought projection, develop this fear. That's why this fear will be like a movement within your thought process that will linger around and haunt living beings. That's why the worry, the anxiety, the word is the anxiety, the worry, and the fear. All this will develop and intensify on. So for your case, I think you need to reflect, contemplate, and go through it. Maybe you share with us what happened after that.
Okay. So when it started to palpitate, I was backing up. So then quickly I sit down on my chair and try to relax. But then there was still this thought, my colleagues will think I'm a bit, why am I sitting down doing nothing? that helps also. But I try my best to relax. So I did that for quite a while. And then when I start to feel that the palpitation has like reduced a bit, I open my eyes up because I think maybe I should go home. I don't want to sit there. Wow, I look at the clock. I've been sitting there for 50 minutes,
Yeah.
Okay lah. But it was still palpitating, just that it reduced a bit lah. So I thought, okay, never mind, go home already. So I packed and then I start driving home. Still got there is still palpitation. But I try to relax. When I reach home, I told my mother that I have palpitation. So my mother said, like that, you better go and rest,
Sadhu, good advice.
Yeah. But I got agitated when she said that, because I'm not supposed to rest. I have to continue working until 7. I can go back at 4, but the condition is work from home until you work your hours.
Yeah.
So I got a bit agitated, like, hey, how come my mother don't understand me? I asked me to go and sleep some more. Then immediately after that thought, suddenly I realized, hey, what's wrong with that? Your mother is right.
Yeah.
Take a rest. Take a rest.
That's why that is good advice.
That is good advice. Then my mother said, don't even take your bath. Just go and rest now.
Yeah, rest first.
I don't know. I accepted that. And then I thought, good idea. I can actually take half day off, even though it will be my disadvantage, because if half day it would be 2 o'clock onwards. But now it's 4 o'clock. I would give 2 hours for free. But now mine doesn't matter. So I just lie down, and then it's like, because I already accepted, I felt as I lie down, everything changes, Immediate change. Yeah, I don't know how it changed. It's like very different from palpitation to no more palpitation.
Become very quiet, very peaceful. You know why or not? Just now when you explain at the office, you scared your colleagues that thought, that fear, that is also a fear. That's why you must trace the origination factor. All these are the fear, the thought that project. What happened if my colleagues see me like that, thinking that I am not working, I am just like lazily resting or and all. Say, forget about it. Understand? Do you have a room to yourself or not?
I don't have, mother.
You don't have a room to yourself.
Yeah.
Then they got the what they call the place where they go for prayer on. You can go in there and rest. Understand? No need to be shy. But even if you don't have a room, for me it's like that. You just have to tell your colleague, I'm not feeling well, I need to rest. Then silent everything. Forget about, otherwise the thought linger around. That's why when you open your eye, although it's already 50 minutes, but you still have a little bit of the palpation. It's because you cannot fully rest. When you can fully rest, you recover very fast. You recover very fast. That's why whenever I felt something, I will silent everything and I will just go in and rest. I don't care what people say. I just silent. Then after that I will recover. Even sometimes I go to the bank while waiting or what. I just close my eyes, silent everything. Then earlier on, I remember in the meeting also I did that. They thought I sleep. So what? If people want to believe that I sleep, let them believe. Because the reality is I was fully aware within Anasana. Whenever people call me or say anything, I can still know if I want to know. That should be the mind that is trained, heedful. Then all this, you start to develop the understanding, then you know the thought actually got various way of through the back door, coming back and haunt you, linger around without you knowing it. That's why I say, don't ever have all this type of thought. Just tell yourself, I want to rest, finish. Whatever it is, I rest. That's why when you decide, because you have to rationalize, maybe I take half day. That give you the comfort, no. Although you say you lose, never mind lah. I take half day off. Then you just go and rest. But that one is for people who like very worried that they cheat on the time and all. Forget about it. Actually, while you're working, whatever happen, if you need to rest, you just rest. If you need to take your time off, you just take your time off. It's just like something necessity. You have to rest, you rest. Because you're not feeling well, means you say you're not feeling well. Then just go and rest. And that is not cheating, understand? Cheating means you purposely like wants to deceive and like 偷雞. But when it comes to working, you don't worry. There is a policy like your office set up. Work from home, but you make sure you fulfill the hour, understand? How you fulfill is up to you. Because sometimes you go home, the traffic may be quite heavy, then you reach home much later. But as like you say, as long as you fulfill the working hour, that's it. But don't have to be so rigid, because sometimes, like we all during my time and on, I normally stay back in office for quite a while if I got work to do, or if people make appointment to see me or whatever. Then I normally after office, I still meditate in the office one until sometimes I meditate until I overshot the time, understand? The office break at 5, I remember. Then normally, even if I want to meditate, at the most 1 hour, 6 o'clock, I will leave already. Then there was one day, I meditate until inside my room was bright because I got my light on. But when I came out, outside, all dark already, means after 7:30 already. Then I look at my handphone, the watch. Wow, 7:30 already. I was telling myself, how come I sat there so long? But the mind settled down. That's why you can sit for so long. But for your case, if you don't have a room, I think you can't. You better leave. Then sometimes the officer, certain officer, they expect you to leave immediately or not, unless you are on OT or what. Then they know, then they let you work there. Otherwise, if it's central aircon, they will off the whole thing one. So after a certain time, you have to go on. So it depends. But my case is, my room, I have my own room. I have my own window unit. So the central aircon off doesn't affect me. So that's why I sometimes stay back quite late. Once a while when I have to rush to something, I may work until about, I think 8:30 at night. That was the latest. Because I need to finish off certain thing. But very seldom. Most of the time I leave immediately after 5. Then sometimes I want to meditate, then I stay for a while. Then before 6 I will leave already. And most of my working place near to my house. That's why no more problem. So this is a very good experience for you, Mun Yuen. So when you are able to, like, for your case at the moment, you are using your thought to like settle things. Then you have peace of mind. Then you realize, like you explained, big difference. Like you suddenly settle down and your mind state become very, where you are aware of the difference. And this is what you will learn Oh, no wonder you're very excited to share. And now I know. Okay, you continue. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, because there was a total difference.
Yeah. Very
I
big
don't
difference.
even
You
to
have nothing
take
haunting you already.
no,
Understand? Now? No
yeah,
thought lingering around already.
I don't have to go through my sweeping method or
Yeah,
what I
no
need
need
to do.
already.
No need.
Because you
Go away.
already technically have the understanding to do it already. And you know why you can do it or not? Because you have resolved the guilty feeling, the guilty thought, understand? Now? That guilty thought, that trigger of fear without you knowing it. So now you understand the meaning by what 广清老和尚 say. 做完了，没事了. You understand a bit of
Yes,
Mandarin, is it?
understand.
Once you finish, means finish, understand? That's why I say aware, finish. Aware, finish. Or aware, silent. Means completely don't carry anything around. Means no guilty feeling, no thought that trigger off the worry, the anxiety, all those gone. Actually, this example very good. It can help you and other Kayamita who don't have the experience or awareness to see all this. So what happened to you, this one can actually let you develop the understanding so that in future you will be able to do it. Based on what you described, like you say, you no need to prepare yourself, mind, spirit, oh, no need. You just silent, go to rest. Rest means what? Don't try to know, don't try to do, just like you are dead, completely silent, go down. And you recover very fast on. I realized after 1989, after I understand the thing, I can relax very fast on. Any time on. I just silent, I relax already. Then my body, everything, it will recover very fast. Even my tiredness or what, I want to recuperate or what, I recover very fast. I just have to switch off my mind completely and let the body be. Means like it's dead at the sound. Don't resist, don't control. Then it will go into that meditative state. Then you recover very fast, you recuperate very fast. Very good. You continue.
Yeah, so Brother Teo, I feel very quiet, nothing, no thought. Just feel
Sadhu.
very, very comfortable.
Yeah,
No, I don't feel anything at all. No
correct.
palpitation. Yeah, because there's no vibration at all.
Correct. Completely still.
Yes, completely still. And
That is very good. That is the mind state that the enlightened being actually go through. Is completely still. No thought, nothing, no activity. Very good, Sadhu.
and then this one a bit funny also. Then after that a while, because it's so hot, right? I feel sweat coming down my neck. Yeah. So I use my hand to wipe it, and then I felt like the skin around that area. I don't know lah.
Sadhu.
I'm just describing it.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
very smooth, and then I
Yeah,
realized like the whole body is very smooth. Not me.
correct, Sadhu. That is the pure energy that make your skin like that one. Like I said, you feel your skin at that time. It's like there's a layer of very smooth. Like there's a layer of oil. It's not oily one, no, but you feel very smooth one. No.
Not oil, just smooth lah. I don't know, smooth lah.
Correct. That pure energy make your skin like that one. You feel very good and very tranquil, very still, and the energy is because that energy, that stillness energy, that nature's energy is very different one. It's the pure energy without thought one, no, pure. Very good. You will go through all this. Sadhu.
I mean, I learned from this experience. I understand what Brother Teo say. Don't want to know because really,
But you early on cannot do it because you have this guilty thought or guilty feeling that linger around you because you are a person who is very honest. You like don't want to break your precept, don't want to cheat or don't want to. Actually, that one although is good, but is actually rigid. Understand? As long as you are truthful, sincere to yourself, that's it. Understand? Don't worry what people say. Because you just do your duty. If you are sick, you need to rest, you rest. But there is an entitlement, understand? Then you are not feeling well, you need to go to a clinic or what, is your right. Or if you need to rest during the office, you just rest. Then when you recover, then you continue with your work. But you still feel that you are not feeling well, you need to go back and work from home or rest, then make the decision and just go. So that there is no lingering thought, understand? The guilty feeling, the lingering thought is very, very detrimental. Where that hidden fear, that what they call lingering fear, most people without the wisdom and the awareness cannot detect on. Actually, all that type of reaction from the mind that hold on to all this are your old habitual tendency, the guilty feeling and whatever. So thought being egoic, deluded, limited, every time behave that way. Then when you have the direct seeing, the awakening, and you understand the limitation of thought, then you will know not to use thought. Your thought no use on. You don't use thought to do all those things. But for work, for mechanical activity, yes, repetitive activity, that learning or whatever, then even memorizing, you need to use thought, reminding yourself, repetitive thing. That one is thought-based. You use thought. But apart from that, psychological, try, avoid. Don't allow the thought to come in and haunt you. So this is a very good experience for you, and it will help you to develop more stable understanding. Then you see the big difference, which means you already know how to relax and develop the meditative mind. You don't need to, like normal people, go through the preparatory stage and all those things. So your natural tendency to meditate is already there because you already have the understanding. But your doubt arises because every time the thought that is lingering that cause all this anxiety or subtle guilt, I call it the guilt, the guilty thought. And that is the one that actually cause a lot of people not to be at ease. You know Cantonese, right? Means they feel like anxious, like not right, means not at peace. So they have to resolve it. But for you, you develop this understanding after this experience. You contemplate and reflect and tell yourself, finish means finish. And that's like 广清老和尚做完了就没事了。Then 对也接受，不对也接受 means right and wrong is from the thought. There is no such thing as right and wrong. The reality is, truth is. So no need to worry about right or wrong. Whatever happened, acceptance. 对也接受 means whatever happened, whether right or wrong, acceptance is very important. 无论如何都要忍住 means develop the understanding and the patience to develop this acceptance. Then 忍入 transform and become paramita. 忍入就是波罗蜜 That one is a very beautiful understanding. That's why for those enlightened beings, they will teach you in this way, which is the wisdom way. It's not a knowledge. Wisdom means they have the wisdom to come to terms with whatever happened, the reality of the moment. Means whether it's right or wrong, they accept. 对也接受，不对也接受，无论如何都要忍辱，忍辱就是波罗蜜。Then the one that have the awakening will actually understand and they rejoice. And this is what cultivation is all about. That's why when I heard that saying from Kongqing Lao, my nature was full of joy. But I know this is how cultivators transform. When they transform, they understand. They will understand all these words, and they will know this is what the enlightened being will do. Their ability to come to terms with the reality, to accept whatever. Then they will not analyze and try to. The other word is what? Analysis and reasoning. They will not try to reason anymore or analyze anymore. Because no point. That one is all from the thought. And the thought always wants to develop the analysis so that they can be at peace, or so that they can come to terms with their guilty feeling. Understand or not? Then they always have this guilty feeling if they are not able to reason or analyze to justify it. Then I realize they are not at peace. And that guilty thought or guilty feeling always come and haunt them, or that fear will come back and haunt them. Actually, that one all created by thought, delusion, no reality, dependent originating. Means what? If they are there, it means you have the wrong thought. You don't have the wisdom. You cannot see things as they are. You cannot come to terms with what is the reality. Causes and conditions like that, things will be like that. Finish. Don't try to know. Don't try to worry or analyze or reason or try to justify. Forget about it. All these are from the thought. Whatever you understand, you make the decision. That's it. Finish. Then whatever arises, that is the reality. At peace. Then contemplate, reflect, then act. Act with Dhamma understanding, wisdom, no negativity. Means whatever that is of the nature to arise, is of the nature to cease. Develop those understanding. People are just the way they are. Conditioned like that, things will be like that. The world is the world. So you continuously reflect, contemplate, then develop the understanding, stabilize it. Then later on, when similar situation occur at the moment of sense experience, you know what to do. Then your awareness will become more sensitive, and you will be able to detect all these subtle guilt, all those things. Then you will resolve it one by one, until one day you realize you only smile. You are always happy, peaceful, joyful. When that time comes, my nature will sadhu you. You should be able to do it.
Thank you, Radio.
Yeah.
Thank you. Really, what you said really true. I understand. And I after this I have confidence.
Sadhu. Very
really
good.
have, but after this also, that kind of meditation didn't repeat.
Don't worry, because when you got nothing to trouble you, that meditation will come in one. Because you just relax. Relax means what? Means nothing to disturb you, and a relaxed body and mind. Completely like you are dead. Just let it settle down. The mind also will not disturb you, at ease, completely. You try it, it will come on. And actually meditation is very simple. It's just relax and enjoy, like my last guide told me. And that is very true though. Relax, silent, and enjoy. Because like you described earlier on, that meditative transformation, the mind state, is like so different. You never experienced before. No need to do anything. You straight away in that state without thought. So still, so tranquil, so beautiful. And your skin, complexion, everything also change. And that will happen actually. You can feel there's like a layer of, not oily one, no, it's like a very, very soothing one.
Yes. All I can say is it just felt smooth.
Smooth, silky, and soothing, very soothing. And you know it's very different.
Then I did reflect back, and I realized in the past when I meditate, I also have that kind, but for a very short moment.
Momentary.
Very
but
short.
This one lasts longer.
This one about, I think, 45 to 50 minutes.
Easily, because you went into it. When you are completely relaxed and free, when nothing is troubling you or haunting you, you settle down very fast. And your true nature, your true mind return. That is what Shen Hua meant by flip of a palm. The moment you understand, no more fear, no more worry, nothing linger around, then you completely silent or still. Then the true mind actually manifests. And that is for you to understand because of your faith and diligence.
It was quite a experience for me.
It's a very, very good experience. Amazing.
Yes, amazing. Like variety of flip of the hand.
Flip of my hand, it become like that.
Yes.
From palpitating.
And all the pressure in my neck, the throat, because when I palpitate,
all gone.
I think all the gas come out.
You will release a lot of gas. Very good.
No more. Finish.
Finish. Very good. That experience will help you understand a lot of things. And that is the most beautiful thing to happen. That's why whatever arises, if it's meant to be, initially it may appear like something negative or not so conducive. But when the final result manifests, then you realize it's a blessing in disguise, it's meant to be. Where all this manifests to show you the way and the understanding behind. That's why cultivation is like that. Do not develop aversion or unhappy mind state when things don't go your way. It's just like you experience. You are under pressure to finish off that project or whatever. Means within that morning. So that harassment from that fear of the assignment given to you, that one is actually causing you to have anxiety, like you mentioned, until your heart also palpate. All these are what you can learn while you are going through the career environment situation, the career field, or in life. You experience many, what I should say, situations where you have to resolve whatever life issue. So through all this encounter, you actually develop the understanding. That's why I always share, life itself is your greatest teacher. You can learn a lot from life. Well, existence is life. And life itself is where the manifestation of all the possibility of the five aggregate of form and mind is, good and bad. And whether it's mental hindrance or is the spiritual faculty, it lies with your understanding. The moment you understand, your thought has no power over you. That's why all the guilty feeling, guilty thought, all those things, they just cease. And when that one ceases, you become very beautiful. You return to your true mind, your silent mind. Then if you really know how to relax, you will immediately go into the meditative state. That's why the meditative state is not difficult. For those who have stabilized their meditation, immediately. In fact, most of the time is immediate. The moment I relax, silent, I went in already. Initially, I remember it may still take me a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. Then immediately I just let things be. Then the Sankara slow down. Then within 1-2 minutes, it become quiet. Then it return to the stillness. Then from there, you develop a lot of understanding. The true mind without thought, the beauty of it, the marvel of it, the wonders of it, so beautiful. Then how the mind stir? Through your senses it come in. Then the thought manifests. And it moves very fast. That's why the Paticca Samuppada, I saw it. And it's multi-dimension, it's not single dimension. That's why all this movement, when you have awareness, you see it. Especially when you are in that state that you describe, the sudden peace, tranquility and stillness. Then as you come out, you develop the awareness to see how you go back to your normal routine thought process. Then how the sense data come in. Then you can have the sati to be aware, and how from which sense door it manifests, and how that sense data through your views, opinion, condition and belief system stir and react and cause the habitual tendency to come back. Then when you see, understand, then you contemplate, reflect. Then retrospectively reverse all this through wisdom and understanding. Means, why do you still react? Why does the mundane habitual thinking still stir and react? How can I not stir? Then that is the beginning of inquiry. Then you go into the Dhamma that you have learned, especially from the teaching and those that I've shared with you. Then you realize, through that understanding, you can come to terms with the reality. You can develop the wisdom to see things as they are. Then all the contemplative wisdom that I share with you, the world is the world, conditions are that, things will are that. People are just the way they are. Deluded people do deluded things. Selfish people do selfish things. Violent people do violent things. Then you realize, based on that understanding, you can come to terms with whatever condition that manifests. You can see things as they are. You can accept people for what they are and the world for what it is. Then you suddenly realize the mind can just be with the moment without thought, without stirring, without reaction. And that is your true mind. When the thought don't manifest, without thought, you are beautiful. You are that nature. But why do that nature manifest into the mundane thinking mind, the thought process? It's because of your views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, insecurity of all this that living being accumulate through delusion. And the true cultivation is to see all this, understand all this, and retrospectively reverse it through wisdom, through understanding, through the silent mind that observe and develop the understanding. And this is cultivation, the real cultivation. Not all the method and technique to train the mind to control. That one is just the initial stage to anchor the mind, to train the mind, the skillful mind. That one, they haven't stabilized their sati, awareness. They cannot observe. They cannot insight into phenomena. They cannot contemplate, reflect, and develop all this understanding. So today's sharing by you bring up a lot of understanding from cultivator of the way. And it also allow me to share a lot of those related cultivation that cultivator need to develop as understanding. Very good, Manya.
Thank you,
Anything
Raja.
else? Anything else?
I will remember your words and I will try to do it.
You do it, apply. Then you listen to this sharing again. It will help a lot. Well, today on the topic about thought is very good. Then the next Sunday, I will go into the detail of how thought divide, which I earlier explained, but it's captured in the notes. Then the example given actually, this one, lesson 26, is full of understanding the way of thought, the limitation of thought, how thought divide and cause all the entanglement, affliction, suffering, conflict, misery. That's why thought without Dhamma understanding and wisdom is very, very detrimental to human happiness. Human beings actually create a lot of wrong thought through their own sakkayaditthi, self-delusion. Without Dhamma understanding, all the thought will carry the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. That's why it becomes wrong thought. That's why it triggers off. Like I said, you must understand what are wrong thought. Whenever you are not happy, not peaceful, the wrong thought is there. Not happy, not peaceful means what? You have worry, you have anxiety. There's a thought that condition your fear, your worry, your anxiety, your sorrow, your lamentation, your unhappy emotion. These are all wrong thoughts. So very easy to detect wrong thought. And I summarize it as whenever you are not peaceful, not happy, the wrong thought is there. Why can't you have joy, happiness? It's because there are things that trouble a living being. If they don't have this type of wrong thought, they will be happy, they will be peaceful, they will be joyful. Because when they hear something or recall something, or somebody come and remind them of something, or trigger a thought that give rise to fear, worry, anxiety, then they realize they are not peaceful already. They worry already. They have anxiety already. And this is how thought, through its negative emotion, trigger mental anxiety, suffering, fear, worry, anxiety. And this make the mind restless. And restlessness is a mental hindrance. That's why it will hinder your mind from entering the meditative state. Then you will start to see the pattern of behavior manifesting through mental hindrance. Whenever there is sensual desire, you will like and dislike. Pleasant and unpleasant sense experience, the mind will stir, or mind will react. Then when that situation or topic is not conducive, you don't like it, you sometimes feel sleepy, you cannot pay attention. Sloth and torpor arise already. Then all this restlessness of mind is due to your fear, your worry, your anxiety, when things don't go your way, when you cannot get what you want, when your thought project and trigger off the fear, the worry, the anxiety, like you say, deadline and all those things. In fact, within life, especially the career field, a lot of people are under stress, and they develop this unnecessary fear, worry, anxiety, because in the career field, they tend to have a lot of stressful situations, because everybody is trying to do their part, do their duty, or what I should say, their responsibility. So the one higher up, they will try to put pressure on those that are below them, unless you have good bosses. Otherwise, not easy. They will harass you. They will give you a deadline. They will pressurize you. That's why I always use the word management by fear and harassment. They put fear into you and they harass you to deliver. Putting fear is very easy. They threaten to take disciplinary action against you, or they threaten to give you a black mark, or they threaten to sack you. Then most people have been like very worried about their job security. They succumb to it, They carry a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety. Then sometimes the phone ring can trigger so much fear, especially those staff or worker that have been subject to all this harassment before. Once they hear the phone call, they worry about a lot, and the thoughts start to project already. Unless you have the understanding and your life is relatively smooth sailing and more peaceful, then you won't have such thing. Otherwise, those with karmic past negativity, they go through a lot of distress. And it's a blessing you can have all the good life. That's why the Buddha, in his fifth contemplation, he said, we are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. So, if you don't take care of karma, then your life will go the other way. That's why understanding this karmic law is very important. If we are born of it, heir to it, conditioned supported by it, and we are what we are because of our karmic nature, then we choose to take care of karma. And how do we take care of karma? Follow the advice of the Buddha. That's why this cultivation starts. Avoid all evil. How to avoid all evil? Through keeping the precept, through understanding. Violating the precept is committing major evil. Then what constitutes evil? Develop the understanding. Then from there, when you keep your precept, it's a meritorious action. It's a virtue. That's why virtue protect, nothing else. So when you can avoid, that is the beginning of virtue. Then the second part is cultivate wholesomeness wherever there is condition. So to do that, you have to develop the third and fourth right effort to cultivate the right thought, right speech, right action, and right way of living your life, which are still not in you, all those mind states. The right thought, right speech, right action, and right way of living your life. So the thought behind is very important. That's why they have to be without the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. So the right effort to cultivate those wholesome thought, wholesome speech and action that are still not in you. So develop it. Then after that, refine upon whatever that you have developed and perfect it all until you have the embodiment of virtue, no more negativity. And that's how the first two advice of the Buddha, avoiding all evil, do good, can come about. Then the third advice is purify the mind through wisdom, through mindfulness, through awareness, to free the mind, to liberate the mind, so that Sakkayaditthi can be rooted out. So all these are very beautiful teaching, and it started off with right view with regards to law of karma. And that first right view is very powerful. Then law of mind is paticca samuppada. Then law of truth is the Four Noble Truths with its three turning. That's why all this right view trigger of the cultivation. Okay, Mun Yuen, very good. Sadhu to you. You can summarize. You have 5 more minutes.
Yeah, Brother Teo. So I think like what you say, always need to be aware of when the negative thoughts come in.
Yes.
And do not let it perpetuate until it's very difficult to reverse. Like, you know, it started palpitating, then it's very hard to reverse. And you know, it's not every
Correct. Because when you are aware, that is the beginning. Means the wrong thought is there, then use this, which I have advised you of. No amount of fear, worry, and anxiety can help you solve your problem. Understand? So worry about it, no use one. Having anxiety, no use one. All these are the wrong thought. Then why do you develop it? It's because you allow your thought to project itself through your lack of awareness. Awareness means the moment you are aware, without thought, all this disappears, cease, understand? They call it mere. The Mandarin word is mere. Gone. It cannot stay. It cannot sustain its arising. Because these are all mind-make. Mind-make are they. So mind-make means 一切唯心造. When you know it's from the thought, because the mundane mind is from the thinking, then you reverse it through wisdom. Then why do you think? You have to reply. The deadline, yes. That is a fact, understand or not? Means I accept. Then at peace. Then do what you have to do. You understand or not? You don't have to develop all the negative emotion like fear, worry, anxiety. All this will not help you. Then whatever that manifests, that is the reality. Accept it first, at peace. Then ask yourself, how can I resolve this amicably? I mean, you are just a human being, isn't it? Do your best. If you cannot finish, so be it. Understand or not? But you try your best. Career is like that. There is no such thing as life and death, understand or not? Cannot finish me, cannot finish lah. Like in the Cantonese way, mie kam tai gin si. There is no such thing as something very big, understand? That is the reality. The reality is I cannot finish it. Otherwise, you have to come out with the understanding why you cannot finish it. It's because you got not enough time, or not enough subordinate to help you, or not enough resources to do it. Then you can sincerely go and talk to your boss. But of course, bosses, as you all know, our bosses, they will just tell you off. And some can be very nasty. But you don't have to worry. You do your best. And most of the time, if you don't have any more fear, you do your best, you can somehow produce very good work. And it can really let you have the understanding that without fear, you are more efficient. You have more clarity. Then you can do better. But there is nothing lingering behind that trigger of the pressure, the stress, or the fear that will cause your performance to be affected. Under that type of stressful anxiety mind state, most people cannot perform, cannot deliver. Because that fear actually have a way of causing the mind not to work at its optimum level. Oh, time up already, very fast. Okay, Maya, you summarize it, sorry.
Yeah. So thank you, Brother Teo.
Oh, that's all,
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Thank
Sadhu,
you.
sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, let us rejoice with the good sharing. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now we will share merit, transfer merit, then we end. Akasata cha pumata devanaga mahindika punyang tang anumoditwa chirang rakantu loka sasana Itta wata camehi sampadan punya sampadan sabbe dewa anumodanto sabba sampati siddhya idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang menya tinang hotu Sugita hontu nyatayo Devo sadukalena Sasa sampati hetu cha Fito bhavatu loko cha Raja bhavatu dhammiko Imina punyang kamena Mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu Yawa nivana patiya Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully the Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy one that we end. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.